For 25 years, I lived what most people would call the dream. A beautiful wife who loved me, 2 children who carried my last name with pride, birthday parties in the backyard, Christmas mornings in matching pajamas, Sunday dinners around a warm table filled with laughter. Our neighbors admired us. Our church praised us. Our families said, "What a perfect couple." From the outside, I was a man who had it all. A steady job, a stable marriage, a picture-perfect life. People looked at me and said, "You're blessed." And I nodded, because that was the role I was supposed to play. The good husband, the devoted father, the man who figured life out. But what they didn't know was this. Every smile I put on in public felt like a mask that grew heavier every year, because behind those closed doors, I was a man living 2 lives, one filled with family photos, bedtime stories, and father-daughter dances, and another filled with lies, secrecy, and shame. By day, I was the man everyone respected. By night, I was the man even I couldn't face in the mirror. I became an expert at pretending I was happy, pretending I was straight, pretending the emptiness in my chest was normal. I told myself it was just a phase, that every man struggles with something, that if I prayed harder, tried harder, loved my family harder, these thoughts would go away. But they didn't. They grew louder, more demanding, more desperate. And the worst part, I wasn't just hiding from the world, I was hiding from myself. But in order for you to understand my story, you need to know who I was in my second life. The life no one saw, the life that only existed after midnight. At night, when the house was silent, when my wife was asleep beside me, when the world believed I was the perfect husband. That's when the real war began. My mind went wild. The thoughts wouldn't stop. The desire, the hunger, the need. I wanted to feel a man's touch, not just sex. His breath on my neck, his arms around me, his body pressed against mine, warm, alive, real. I didn't know how to get these feelings out of me. I prayed, I begged, I promised God I would stop. But the more I tried to kill it, the stronger it came back. So I did what so many of us do. I lived in the shadows, bathhouses, adult bookstores, parking lots, anonymous hotel rooms, places where no one used real names, where the lights stayed dim, where desire was quick and emotion was forbidden. What started as a rare escape became my normal. Moments that lasted an hour, maybe 2, but haunted me for days. I'd stand in the shower afterward, scrubbing my skin like I could wash the shame off. But shame doesn't live on the skin. It lives in the soul. Still, I told myself I was in control, that I was just experimenting, that I could keep both worlds alive, the loyal husband and the man who craved men. But secrets don't stay quiet forever. They grow, they multiply, they rot everything they touch. And every time I came home, I pretended it never happened. I sat at the dinner table, kissed my wife goodnight, tucked my kids into bed, and tried to forget what I had just done. But the more I tried to run from it, the deeper I fell into the rabbit hole. Because deep down, it was never just about sex. I didn't just want a body. I wanted to be loved by a man, to be held like I mattered, to be seen without hiding, to be chosen, willingly, fully, honestly. But most of the time, no one cared about my feelings. They cared about their needs. My body was useful. My heart was invisible. And yes, I felt used. But I couldn't even blame them, because I put myself there. I chose the darkness. I lived in the shadows. And for a long time, I believed that was all I deserved. I remember that evening, she walked into our bedroom. Her hands were shaking. She wasn't holding a knife, but what she had in her hands cut just as deep. My phone. She'd hired someone, a hacker, to break into my account. Every message, every video, every lie, all right there on the screen. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just looked at me and asked, "Who are you, really?" And in that moment, I didn't have an answer. The divorce was quick. She wanted out, and honestly, I didn't blame her. I told myself I was free, finally free, to live the life I always wanted. But freedom can feel like an empty room. For the first time in decades, there was no one waiting for me, no one to text goodnight, no one who cared if I came home. I tried to fill the silence with faces. Younger men, fast conversations, meaningless messages, grinder, scruff, growler, endless profiles, endless promises, endless lies, swipe right, maybe this one, maybe tonight, maybe someone will see me. But I became a ghost inside those apps, swiping, hoping, waiting, watching the screen light up, only to go dark again. And the worst part, nobody was cruel to me. They didn't insult me. They didn't attack me. They just ignored me. And sometimes, silence cuts deeper than words. I was over 50, overweight, overlooked. In a world obsessed with six-packs and youth, I was a reminder of everything they were afraid to become. I wasn't desirable. I was disposable. And that truth, that quiet, brutal truth, hurt more than the divorce ever did. Because my wife left me when she found the truth. But these men, they didn't even care enough to know it. I was ready to give my heart. They were only searching for bodies. I tried to convince myself it was enough. A few hours of attention, a warm body in the dark, a whisper that faded by morning. But every time the door closed, every time the screen went silent, every time I lay in bed alone watching the ceiling fan spin, I felt it, that deep, aching emptiness. Not in my body, but in my soul. You see, the gay world worships youth. It glorifies perfection. It trades humanity for aesthetics. It teaches you that love is a luxury, only the beautiful deserve. And I was no longer the man it desired. I wasn't young enough. I wasn't thin enough. I wasn't shiny enough for the marketplace of validation. And for the first time in my life, I realized something terrifying. Maybe I had left one prison, only to walk willingly into another. Then one day, a message appeared from someone thousands of miles away, Colombia. No sup, no dirty picture, no late night you host, just, hi, how was your day? His smile was soft, his words were kind. He didn't try to impress me. He didn't flirt to get something from me. He listened. He asked about my thoughts, my dreams, my fears, the things no one ever cared to ask. And for the first time in years, I felt seen, not as a body, not as an option, not as a secret, but as a person. Because of the distance, something beautiful happened. There was no rush, no pressure to meet immediately, no when can we hook up, no expectations. We talked and talked and talked. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. We built something slowly, gently, safely, no sex. Which meant everything we felt was real, no jealousy. Because trust came naturally, no drama. Because honesty was our default, no games. Because we weren't performing, we were just ourselves. And as time passed, something I had never experienced before began to grow between us. True emotion, raw, steady, genuine. It wasn't fireworks, it wasn't obsession. It was deeper. It was peace. With him, I didn't feel the need to compete, or hide, or pretend. I didn't feel old. I didn't feel invisible. I didn't feel broken. With him, I felt human again. I flew to meet him. He was real. He introduced me to his family, to his world, one filled with warmth and grace. Visit after visit, the walls I built began to fall. And eventually, we married. When he moved to the States, suddenly 24 hours weren't enough. We needed 60. We shared meals, dreams, silence. Not the silence of shame, but the silence of peace. I still love my kids. I still respect my past. But now, I'm living as the man I was always meant to be. If you're listening to this and living a lie, I get it. The fear, the guilt, the exhaustion. But there's something worse than losing everything, and that's losing yourself. Be honest with your wife. Be honest with your children. Be honest with you. Because the truth might break your life apart, but it will rebuild your soul. I cheated on my wife, but in the end, I finally stopped cheating myself.